Hey, check 1 2. Hey. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Okay. Hello and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Welcome and thanks for tuning in. We're moving onward with our experience. And today, what I'd like to do is open up the intercostal muscles, the muscles that are between the rib cage that assist with breathing. We have this major muscle that we call the diaphragm, and the diaphragm, when it engages, it pulls downward because it attaches to the spinal column below. And when it disengages, it kind of goes upward. And when the diaphragm goes upward, it pushes breath out of the lungs and we exhale. When we inhale, the diaphragm actually contracts, creating a suction. So the diaphragm pulls downward towards the belly, and you'll see the belly kind of move outward. And as the diaphragm descends, it creates a suction of air into our lungs. Now, assisting in that, we've got these intercostal muscles between the ribs. We have deep intercostal muscles and superficial intercostal muscles. Essentially, all you need to know is that these muscles, what they do is they expand and contract the ribs, okay, so that the ribs can open up and make space. Now, here's the thing that we want to know for today is that we have the capacity to move our diaphragm downward, which I had mentioned, but the diaphragm also has the capacity to move outward to the sides if the intercostal muscles are flexible. Now, if the intercostal muscles are tight and the rib cage gets bared down on all sides, then the only way to breathe is into the belly. Now, that's okay, but what we kind of want to know is that where we place our breath in our body has a correlation to the nervous system and what energy we are raising. So when we breathe down into the belly or even the pelvic floor, those are the first two quadrants of breath. When we breathe down into that, it has a sedating effect, a calming effect. So if you're trying to go to bed at night, you want to belly breathe or even pelvic floor breathe, which will help us relax, ground down, release. And when we breathe into the rib cage, there's an energeticness to it. So if we want to, when you're waking up in the day, in the morning, and you want to raise your energy, or you have something like a presentation you got to do, or you got to find the energy inside of you to do something, then breathing in this area is going to awaken the nervous system, sympathetic nervous system. Okay, and also all the way up in the collarbones too. That's the fourth quadrant of breath, letting the shoulders rise on inhale and letting them fall on the exhales. Now, if we go to the extreme of going up to the collarbones, that's panic, okay? So when the shoulders rise up, but of course, we're not trying to go to that extreme in yoga, but we do want to let the rib cage inflame or expand and the shoulders to rise so that we're not inhibiting. Now, hopefully in our day, we can breathe throughout the four quadrants completely. And that's what creates balance in the nervous system as far as the breath goes. Okay. Now, what we're going to do today for the two postures I have in mind is learn to breathe thoracically. Now, we could learn to breathe abdominally, we can learn to breathe into the pelvic floor, we can learn to breathe clavicularly. The one that I find is most often beneficial for the asana practice, which is a more yang energy, which fire energy, more sympathetic nervous system, pulling yourself into the intensity of sweat and heat and building strength in the body, awakening physically. When we want to build that kind of energy, that go energy, that empowerment, that self willpower, that kind of stuff, all of that is required, especially throughout the day. It's what helps us live our life and get out of bed in the morning. And when that is fully realized in throughout our day, then it's easier to completely let go at night. Now, of course, there's chronic, stress, fatigue that happens for some people when they're too go, and their adrenal glands are exhausted, and then they get restless and they can't sleep at night. But I want to call your attention to something. Usually, those people are hyperactive with what they're doing in their mind. Okay, it's less. This is very generalizations. Most people that are very active in their physical body can go to sleep at night pretty easily, but the ones that are hyperactive in the mind, all their energy is going up here. It's hard to shut that off for those kind of people, and then going to sleep at night is tough. So what we're doing in the asana practice, especially for the thinkers out there, the feelers out there, the ones that are where all of your energy is kind of going to the higher chakras, in other words, for those people, when we do asana practice, it brings that energy into the physical body. And when the physical body exerts energy, then it's easier for it to rest and release. And that's what most of us find after a really strong, intense yoga practice. The shavasana is even better and even sweeter. Okay. Today, we won't be doing shavasana. We're going to be doing a pranayama and a little meditation at the end, because I like to do, throughout the course, I like to do 4 meditations for you to support you in going deeper into self-awareness. And asana, physical practice, is to the body what meditation is to the mind, and pranayama is to the life force, prana, or our breath. Okay, so let's get into it today. We're going to be stretching the sides of the body where all the obliques kind of connect to our serratus anterior, and then try to today bring the abdominals inwards. We started this on day 1 and continued a little bit with the transverse abdominals. You're going to draw them in and up today, and it's going to force our breath to move into the rib cage on the back side, the sides of the body, and the front side. And what we'll do by doing that is you start to strengthen and develop flexibility in the intercostal muscles. And yeah, after the practice, you let that go and you breathe into your abdomen again. But now your rib cage should have more freedom to move, more oxygen freely moving through the system, more prana, life force, energy flowing. There should be a more of a calm vibrancy that comes over you, hopefully as a result. Now, of course, if this is a really intense practice, then you might be left up here or all the way down here, depending on your body's recovery time. And for some of you that have done this with me a lot, maybe there's not a huge change. So what I'd like you to do is kind of after the class, observe the time directly after, an hour after, 3 hours after, and then tomorrow and then the next day. So you kind of have little increments after your practice that you're observing the experience that is unfolding, because the experience that you have in this asana practice doesn't just last an hour. Your body's recovering, it's transforming, it's changing. The muscles are recuperating, and the energy in your body might change. It might get really tired and fatigued because it's working to rebuild musculature. It might get really energized because now it's free to breathe. Everyone's process afterwards is different, but I would love for you to start developing the self-awareness to reflect upon what happens afterwards. As you go along, if you develop this self-reflective energy, this what the yogis called swadhyaya, this self-reflection or self-inquiry, then over time you start to develop what's called discernment in the yoga practice, which allows you to decipher what is appropriate for you and what is not. And that's something that builds. But in order for discernment to build, swadhyaya, the self-reflection, self-inquiry, must be present. And for a long time, because it's not just like you observe one thing and then you know it all. You have to constantly observe yourself within circumstances and situations, and until you start to see the patterns. And then those patterns get interrupted by different situations. Your behaviors, you behave differently when you get placed in other situations. So you think you know yourself because you've been placed in this scenario for a while. Then COVID-19 hits and you see another side of yourself, or whatever it might be. So the practice of self-inquiry, it never stops and it will never be finished. And that's why the yoga practice is a constant inward reflection and outward expression. All right, so let's get onto our mat. We'll start on all fours today. Fingers gripping the ground. I'd love you to take a full breath in. Exhale and round the back. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale. Inhale, arch, look up. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Bend both knees. Turn the tailbone to the right, toes to the left. Breathe into the left side of your body. Awaken the whole left side by pressing the left hand down so your hips go back. Switch sides. Bend the knees, turn the toes to the right. Breathe along the left side body. Stretching from the inside out. So your breath on the inhale expands and creates the stretch. Back to center. Forward to plank on the inhale. Knees down, child's pose as you exhale. Now walk your hands over to the right side. Take a full breath into the left waistline. Get long in the left hand. Walk over to the right side. Take a breath into the right rib cage. Back to center. Come to all fours, inhale. Exhale, down dog. Right leg to the sky on the in-breath. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Breathe into the right rib cage. Inhale, straighten, square the hip. Step right foot forward as you exhale. Back knee comes down. Point the back foot today. Press the top of the back foot down. Activate the quads. Take a full breath in. Exhale. Now let's warm up the psoas as we want to stretch it in a moment. So pull your feet toward each other like you're trying to pull the back foot towards the front of the mat and you feel your hips lift. Place the knee down. Tuck the back toes, downward facing up. Left leg to the sky, inhale. Bend the knee, open hip. Breathe across the left rib cage. Straighten the legs, square the hip. Step forward. Back knee down, point the back foot. On the fingertips, press the top of the back foot down. Activate the quads, lift the knee up. Pull the back foot towards the front foot. Warming up the quads and the hip flexors. One of those hip flexors is called the psoas, which is tightly intertwined with the, what's the word I'm looking for? The muscle that I just talked about, the diaphragm. Tightly intertwined with the diaphragm. Okay, and then release. Typically, if the psoas is super tight, it limits our breathing capacity. Step back to down dog. So we open up the psoas, we strengthen the transverse abdominals.
And we start to lengthen the sides of the body to get into the intercostal muscles so that our breath can move freely through our rib cage. Forward to plank pose, inhale.
Chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, lift the heart, warm up the back muscles. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the left leg. Press the right knee down into the ground and pull it forward. Exhale, release. Press the right knee down, pull it forward, lift the right leg. Left knee presses down. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the shoulders and the hands. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the shoulders, heart, and hands. Lift the feet. Exhale, release. All fours. Tuck toes. Exhale, down dog.
Right leg to the sky. Right foot outside of right hand. Back knee comes down. Left hand over to the left. Right hand behind the head. The left shoulder spins outward. Okay, spin it outward. Your chest will soften down a little bit in front of the shoulder. That's fine. Press the head back. Breathe along the right rib cage and waistline. You can let your head soften a little bit towards the left shoulder. Don't let the shoulder pop up. Move it back and down, but you can let your head soften towards the shoulder. And slowly release. Step back, down dog. Forward to plank, inhale.
Chaturanga. Little cobra, inhale, lift the heart, shoulders and hands. Exhale, right to down dog.
Left leg to the sky. Outside of left hand. Back knee down, right hand out to the right.
Curl back.
Right shoulder spins around, chest relaxes down so that the shoulder blade moves towards the spine.
Left hand behind the head.
Now press your left rib cage up to the sky, so don't let it sink down. Press it up so that you feel kind of an arc happening in the spine. And even let the right ear release a little bit. Breathing into the left rib cage. And slowly release. Step to plank, inhale.
Chaturanga.
Inhale, lift the heart.
Hands and feet. Exhale, release.
Inhale, lift the heart, hands and feet again.
Exhale.
One more time.
Exhale.
Inhale to all fours. Downward dog. Just take a full breath in. Full breath out. Walk the feet to the front of the yoga mat. Take an inhale onto your fingertips, halfway lift. Hold, exhale. Lean forward towards your toes and press your toes into the ground. Heels can lift up for a moment. Soften the knees ever so slightly. Imagine there's a strap tied around the backs of your legs. Push outward into the strap like you're trying to move your heels away from one another until you feel the outer hips engage. Now, keep leaning forward. Keep the weight in your thumbs of your hands. And without leaning back, Reach the heels down, but the buttocks up. Okay, heels down, buttocks up. And still pressing the backs of the hamstrings apart so you feel your outer hips engaging. Full breath in, lift the heart. Exhale, lean forward, bow. Press the toes down. Inhale, halfway lift. Buttocks up. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Soften the knees. Rest your chest on your thighs. Interlace the hands. And stretch the shoulders back behind you. Breathe along the sides of the ribs. See if you can allow your shoulders to fall a little towards your ears. Just a bit. Bring length to the sides of the body. Release the hands. Place your hands on your knees. Lengthen the heart forward like a back bend. Rise all the way up to stand. Pause in your Tadasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, rise up. To the earth, bow, Uttanasana, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Left foot back, exhale. Pull your feet toward each other. Press down, rise, high lunge, inhale. Pause here. Back quadriceps active, so press your inner back knee up to the sky. Keeping the back leg like it's one piece. Press the ball mount of the back foot down and pull it towards the front foot. Remember, when you do that, the knee will tend to bend. So keep the knee straight, but press the ball mount down and pull it towards the front foot. So you feel the activation of your psoas here. And then pull your front heel back towards the ball mount. So the two feet are pressing down and toward one another, and there should be a feeling of lift in the hips, strength in the glutes, hamstrings, and hip flexors of the back leg. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms release. Now as you inhale, I'd like your rib cage to float up higher. Inhale, belly up, shoulders up. Exhale. Again, inhale. As you inhale, belly up, rib cage up, shoulders up. Exhale, hands to the earth, fingertips. Straighten through both legs, look forward. Bend the knee. Again, straighten to the front leg, bend, lengthen the chest. Bend the knee. One more time. And now bow. One breath in here. And one breath out. Bend the knee, inhale. Chaturanga as you exhale. Slide the hands, fingertips. Okay, lift the front ribs off the ground. Soften by pressing the solar plexus, the back of your heart, forward, below the back of the heart, like where the rib cage meets the spine, or the low back, I should say, forward. Now, reach your right foot further back and lengthen the right ribs forward. Look a little to the left. Be mindful. Feet can be wide, by the way. And slow. Right ribs fall to the earth. Then unwind back to center. We try that on the other side. Inhale, lift the rib cage up. Soften the low ribs forward, solar plexus forward, heart forward. Reach the left leg back as far as it goes, but press the left ribs forward. And see if you can breathe up towards your left side of your heart, underneath the shoulder. And release.
both sides. Inhale. Soften the belly forward, chest forward, heart forward. Pull both sides right and left long and get tall. Exhale, release. All fours, hands and knees. Tuck the toes, leading with your tailbone so there's an arch in your low back. Come to downward facing dog. Full breath in. And out. Take the right leg to the sky. Step right foot between your hands, right to the center. Pivot the back heel down. Draw the line from the front heel to the back arch. And take your right forearm on your thigh, left hand to your hip. Side angle preparation. All right, so usually when we come in the side angle, the front hip bone, it's called the ASIS, is usually collapsed on the thigh bone. And that's just because of the tightness of the groin muscles here, the adductor muscles, and also because of the weakness of the glute muscles. So what I'd like you to do is kind of press through your outer or center of your right heel until you feel the ASIS lifts a little bit. Okay, what that does is going to allow your belly to free up, and you can now draw the belly in and turn it to the left. So you can kind of do what we did last practice. You take your hand to your belly, pull it in, and gently coax it to the left so it understands where to go. Then take your left hand to the sky. Now, is it possible to stay lifted and get lighter in the right arm? Lighter in the right arm. Eventually, just let the palm reach down. Now, you're not collapsing the ASIS, okay? So your buttocks is having to work hard to stay here. One more breath. You should now feel the oblique starting to work too, I hope. Release the hands to the ground. Pivot the back heel up, front toes out to the right. Step forward into Malasana squat pose. And now we take the left hand down on the inside. So you can move around a little bit. Left hand on the inside of your left knee. Right hand up to the sky. Option to reach the right arm kind of over your ear and press your right knee away from you. Right knee out to the right as you breathe into the right rib cage. All right, and release. Slowly transition to the other side. Get your right shoulder on the inside of your right knee. Curl back. Left hand either behind the head. Think about drawing the belly up towards your heart and lengthening the left waistline all the way here. So you want to press the left rib cage up, and then your breath will start to move into the side ribs and intercostal muscles along the left side body will start to strengthen and stretch. And slow. Release. Turn the toes inward a little bit. Lift the buttocks upward. Lengthen the chest forward and pause. Press the backs of your hamstrings apart. Lift the heart up. Get lighter on your fingers. Use your back muscles to lift your bum up and your back muscles to lift your heart up. Take a full breath in. Press the backs of the legs apart. Exhale, bow. This time, if you can, keep your legs straight and take your hands interlaced behind the back, the other pinky on the outside. Let the shoulders fall a little towards the ears, then move them toward each other in the backside. So shoulder blades together, and then reach your hands over. Let's breathe into the sides of the body.
One more breath. All right, hands to the thighs. Bend your knees a little bit. Heart forward like a back bend. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen until you rise up to stand. Take a breath. Let the energy come back down to your feet. Inhale, reach up to the earth bow. Half lift on the inhale. Right foot back, exhale. Press down into your feet and pull them toward each other, down and toward each other to rise up. Tailbone points straight back. And again, back inner thigh active, quads active. So the inner thigh lifts up and the 2 feet press down and like a U shape toward one another until you feel like there's this energy going down into the ground that creates a circle back up. So think of a half circle going down through the ground and the half circle coming up through the body. And that rise of energy coming up through the body hopefully starts to elevate the rib cage and the belly starts to lift up. You keep that and let it fuel your energy to lift up for your lunge. So we'll do again with the breath, arms by your sides. Exhale everything out. Use your breath. Inhale. Inflate the ribs, the shoulders up to the sun. Exhale. Softness, shoulders down, ribs down, belly relaxes. Inhale. Ribs go up, shoulders go up. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, straighten through the front leg. Lengthen the chest forward. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten, look forward. Exhale, bend. And again, inhale, straighten. And this time, bend the elbows, bow as you exhale. We enjoy a breath here. Slowly bend the knee. Plant the palms and slow chaturanga. Slide the hands wide, fingertips. Inhale, lift. Feet a little wide. Exhale, low ribs forward, shoulders back. Pull the low ribs forward. Pull the belly up to the throat, up to the top of the head. Lengthen the right hip and left hip back all the way through the toes. Lengthen the right rib cage and left rib cage up to your belly stretches. Full breath in. And release. Slow belly, ribs, chest, throat. Inhale to all fours. Tuck the toes, leading with your tailbone up. Down dog. Let's take a full breath in. Full breath out. Left leg to the sky. Again, step it between your hands. Back heel comes down. Adjust. Left forearm on the thigh. Right hand on the hip. We pause here. Now find your left buttock muscles to lift the front of your left hip bone. Not your pubic bone, but like right to the left side of your pelvis. You may have hit that bone on the counter. It's called the ASIS. Usually when you walk past the table, sometimes if you hit it, everyone's kind of hit it at some point in their life. Okay, that little bone, we want to lift it up by pressing the left side of your buttocks down and under. Okay, and straight through the heel. So you feel your glute muscles really fire up. And see if you can draw and to kind of continue on that visualization, the back foot presses down and think of that semicircle going down into the ground. Both feet pressing down into that semicircle to the center point, which then creates this spherical energy, the circle coming back up through the core, okay? And the belly lifts, the diaphragm lifts, and now turn the belly, turn the chest. Okay, now with the diaphragm lifted from the transverse engagement, then we're forced to breathe into the rib cage to train the intercostal muscles to be able to move with the breath, okay? So breathe into the right side of your rib cage. Slow Ujjayi breath, right hand up to the sky. Now the bottom elbow tends to be heavy because the right waistline is not active. So what I'm gonna have you do is just take a little side bend of the right rib cage towards the right hip, and then press your left buttocks down into the heel. And those two actions of the right obliques with the left buttocks free up your bottom hand, okay? Take both hands wide. Turn your belly. One more. Okay, release. Left foot comes out to the left, step into Malasana. This time we take the right arm down into the right. Turn the chest. This time keep your left hand on your knee and just breathe into the left waistline. Okay, and then switch. Just try to wiggle yourself as close to the inner left knee as possible. Use your right hand on your knee. Curl back and press your right ribs to the sky. All right, back to center. Turn the toes in. Inhale, halfway lift. Feet a little closer together. Exhale and bow. To the sun, rise up. To the heart as you exhale. All right, bend your knees. Let's get the back warmed up. Today we're going to go back to that palpation of the lumbar spine and move your hips back, push your heels apart, okay? Hips and knees go back, heels press apart. Not really, I mean, the heels are pressing apart. That's what's most easy to kind of cue, but I'd like you to feel that your buttock band activates, and it's like the back, those two sides of your pelvis and the backside push apart, okay? And you might feel that activation there, okay? Keeping that. Now, you want to find your low back moving inward, all the vertebra pushing in. Now, with that, so you can get your transverse to activate, okay? This is going to force the breath now, if you allow it to, into the rib cage, so the intercostal muscles will start to stretch and strengthen. Pull the ears back, the throat back, hips stay back. Keep the low back engaged, arms up to the sky, Utkatasana chair pose. Notice if your shoulders are kind of pulling down. We want the breath to move upward as well. So let the shoulders rise on the inhale. They soften. Don't pull them down. They soften on the exhale. Inhale. Let them rise. Exhale. One more. Exhale, bow, Uttanasana. Half lift, inhale. Step or hop back, Chaturanga. Slide the fingers wide, feet wide. Inhale, lift. Soften the rib cage, presses forward. The belly lengthens. Pull the abdomen towards the heart, inward, through the chest, up through the skull. Exhale, release. Inhale to all fours, hands and knees. Tuck toes, exhale, down dog. Right leg to the sky. Exhale, step. High lunge, inhale. Open up, warrior two. Left hand to your rib cage. Turn your heart slightly to the front and slide the rib cage forward towards the front knee. Keeping that, pick your belly up. Okay, so try to get your transverse. Now, there's the major difference. I want to show you the difference here, okay? Not down like this, okay, that like keeping the body in like a one line, but rather like a bow. Think of that circular energy pushing forward this way. So the rib cage pushes outward, then up. Okay, this is going to require a deep lengthening of all the muscles along the side, the body here, which is there are a lot of them. Okay, now with your belly gently in, breathe into the rib cage up here. Yes, you'll feel your side waistline stretching as well. The inhale will always create a deeper stretch. Okay, side angle preparation. Pause. Is it possible to think of the left hip, this hip bone, rotating? It doesn't actually really move that much, but try to turn it down towards the ground a little bit while the rib cage turns up. So you're going to feel two opposing forces here. That's going to be your obliques, both internal and external, turning on. Keeping that, and you should be able to lift your bottom hand off of the knee. Now reach it forward. Keep the bottom hip turning down, ribs turning up. This is going to strengthen the side body so that we can open it. Left hand reaches down. Breathe along the underside, your right ribs now. One more. Okay, now right hand comes down outside of the right foot. Turn the chest. Left hand either behind the head or over your ear. 3 breaths. Get long. Stretch from the left outer edge of the foot to the fingertips. You can still imagine the top hip turning down while the chest turns up, just to get the muscles activated there. Okay, and release. Back knee comes down. Heel toe the right foot to the right, turn it out. Left hand to the left. Soften your chest forward and rotate the left shoulder. Bend the back knee, reach for a thigh stretch. Gently, like 5 to 10% of your effort, press the foot back into your hand. But press the heart forward against that. One more breath. Okay, and release. Step into plank, slow inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Slide the hands, feet wide. Soften. Pull the heart forward. Exhale. All fours. Tuck the toes. Exhale, down dog. Left leg to the sky. Step forward. High lunge, rise. Open up, Virabhadrasana 2. Again, right hand to the ribs. Press the rib cage, slide it forward, and turn it slightly to the left. Keeping it forward, then reach the left arm up and start to curl back so that there's a big, like you're turning a big steering wheel. The bottom of the steering wheel is going to go forward. The top is going to go back. Most of us just go back with the top and take the bottom with us And as a result, we don't actually get the full lengthening of the rib cage and the breathing into the intercostal. So I really want you to feel the stretch of expansion inside the ribs and feeling that kind of bowing out of the front side. So you get really, what this means is all your vertebrae are side bending, not just a few. Okay, coming back, side angle. It's going to be the power one. So the top right hip tries to rotate down while the rib cage opposes that. It starts to rotate up. Now, if you really do that, if you really try to rotate your top pelvis down while top rib cage up, then you get internal endo-external oblique muscles on the right side activating. All that's missing is the bottom buttocks. So if you press your right hip down into your right heel, sorry, left hip down into your left heel, then you'll be able to, with the obliques on the top side and the buttocks on the bottom side, the bottom arm becomes free. And we hold here with strength. Breathing into the underside. Good, and release. Now we take the left fingertips outside the left foot. Take the right hand behind the head to start. Press the head back. Again, top hip rotates down. Pelvis rotates down. Chest and rib cage rotate up against each other. If you can, reach the right arm real long. Think about your outer edge of your right foot all the way through your fingertips, lengthening. And breathe into that long line. And slow. Back knee comes down. Left foot out to the left. Right hand to the right. Curl back. Bend the back knee for your thigh stretch. Press your low belly and ribs forward. Gently press the foot back into the hand. Now, if you press your foot back and you feel your low back compressed, it's because you aren't breathing into your ribs. You're actually breathing into your belly. So you're going to draw your belly up. Press the chest forward, right where the heart is, and breathe into that space. So your abdomen stays toned upward and the transverse abdominals stay engaged. You can think of your hands palpating your low back, pressing them forward. Okay, and release. Place the palms down. We have a slow, controlled plank pose. Chaturanga. Feet wide, fingers wide. Inhale, lift. Soften. Pull the heart forward and up. Exhale, release. All fours. Tuck the toes, lead with your tailbone. Down dog. Now take a moment. Swadhyaya is the practice of self-inquiry. We practice that in our asana practice through listening and feeling the sensations of our body. So that every action has a reaction of listening. Every action we take, we have a reaction of feeling. And through this process of action and observation, or action and reflection in the physical practice, we begin to eventually develop over time and repetition discernment, knowing what is appropriate for us, because we've experienced, we know what the actions lead to. We're observing the results of our actions. That way we can take different actions if the intended result is not coming out. Same is true in life. We apply that same process. Lift heels up on the inhale, look forward. Hop or step to the front. Half lift, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow Uttanasana. To the sunrise, Urdhva Hastasana. To the heart, exhale. Please bend the knees. Sit low and move the hips back. Okay. Push your heels outward again. And let's find the low back. Palpate it. Make sure it goes in as your chest rises. And then you can take your hands around to the front waistline, sides of your belly. Draw in and up until the chest lifts. Now, take your hands to your rib cage. And let's see if we can ask our rib cage to expand on the inhales. Soften on the exhales. So the rib cage pushes the hands out on the inhales. And the exhales, the rib cage relaxes, hands come closer together. Let's do that again. Shoulders lift on the inhales. Exhale. We're not muscularly moving them. We're just allowing them to move because the breath is moving them. So we're not resisting their movement. Okay. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow. Half lift on the inhale. Exhale, step or hop, chaturanga. Slide the hands, fingertips, inhale, lift. Softness, chest reaches forward. Low back presses forward. Remember your hands palpating in chair pose. Same thing here. Press all the way to your rib cage. Press that forward. Okay, then lengthen the belly up to the heart. Exhale. All fours. Tuck the toes. Exhale. Down dog. Right leg to the sky. Step forward. Push down, rise. High lunge. Open up. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the ground. Inhale, plank. Chaturanga. Slide the hands wide. Inhale, lift. Soften. Low back, chest forward. Inhale, belly in and up. Exhale. Inhale, press to all fours. Tuck toes, exhale. Left leg to the sky. Step forward. Push down, rise, high lunge. Open warrior two. Reverse warrior, inhale. Exhale, hands to the ground. Slow and steady plank, inhale. Chaturanga. Slide hands and feet, inhale, lift. Soften. Pull the heart forward and up. Release. Plank or all fours, inhale. Exhale, down dog. Swadhyaya, self-reflection. Observe the experience you're having in your body. Move the back of your hamstrings apart and lift your sit bones. Lift the heels up. Inhale, look forward. Hop or step. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, bow. Bend the knees, Utkatasana. Left tricep, right thigh twist. First, lengthen through the top of the head. Pull your left hip slightly back. Now draw your belly in and turn your belly to the right. Use your breath to soften. Exhale, turn your belly, turn your heart. Turn your belly, heart, shoulder back. Pause, look down. Slowly slide left foot back. Gather strength in your legs. Push the ball mount of the back foot down and pull it forward. Front heel down. On the exhale, belly to the right. Heart. On the exhale, belly to the right. Heart, shoulder back. One more breath. Start to inhale to unwind. Fingers on the inside of your right foot. Pivot the back heel down. Straighten through the right leg. And walk your right hand back behind the right heel. Press the palm down. You might benefit, and I do, from moving your left heel back so the toes face forward more. Left hand to the hip. Left hip feels like try to turn it down. If you do that, you'll feel your outer hip muscles turn on. The back thigh rotates in, you'll feel your outer hips turn on. Now against that, use your abdominals to twist your spine up to the sky. A modification or variation of triangle. Throw it back. Now try and get the obliques fired up here. So left hip down, left ribs up. So you really feel this cross section of abdominals here activating. Reach your left hand back. Now there's an option. You might start to feel, if you press from your right sit bone down into your right heel, you might feel that your right hand gets light. Don't do that at the expense of your hamstring, okay? So only if it feels light, you can lift it up so you can gather strength. If you feel any pressure in your knee or the back of your leg, keep your hand down. And release. Okay, now take your left arm, hand over head. You can bend your right elbow to the degree that's accessible and reach your left arm over. A big bow of the left side. Breathe into your left waistline. Some of you might be able to flex your right foot. Okay, bend the right knee. Through the back heel up. Step forward, half lift, inhale. Exhale, bow. To the sunrise, Urdhva Hastasana. Into the heart. Pause. Take a breath. Self-reflect so you can observe if any of the decisions that you made were appropriate. Maybe they were too much. Maybe they were just the right. With flexibility, you want to always slowly move through it. It's very easy to go too fast, too soon for your physical body. Inhale when you're ready to the sun chair pose. Exhale, right tricep to the thigh. Left palm on top. Turn the belly, turn the chest. Okay. Pull the right knee back and exhale. Belly twist. Belly, heart, left shoulder. Okay, look down at your left foot. Get stable. Slide the right foot back. Press the feet down into that circular shape, down into the ground.
So it rises all the way up through your belly. Turn the abdomen. One more. Start to unwind. Okay, hands on the inside. Pivot the back heel down. Back toe is facing forward a little bit, like 45 degrees. Walk your hands back a little bit. Sorry, I'm hearing something. Sounds like somebody's knocking outside. Apologize, it's weird. Okay, hands back a little bit. Straighten the leg. That's a little bit odd. Okay, now plant your left palm down. Right hand to the hip. Now rotate your right hip down. And as you rotate your right hip down, rotate your rib cage up to the sky. Right hip rotates down. Right rib cage rotates up. Now, keeping that back thigh is kind of spinning inward, then you feel your outer hips engaged. Press from your left buttocks down and forward into the left heel. Keeping that, attempt to reach your right hand back. See if your obliques are engaged. If your left hand is starting to get light, then you can lift it up. If not, keep it down. Now, this side might be different than the other side, so don't push it. Remember, you want to feel like you're in a strong position, not like you're overly stretching. If you feel like you're overly stretching, then you've gone too far. I feel like you're really active and strengthened in all sides of the body, including the hamstrings, including the waist, then you're in the right place. Okay, now left hand comes back down if it's up. Right hand behind the head and bow out the right rib cage up to the sky. Maybe your right hand stretches over your ear. Maybe your foot flexes. It's a big maybe. But still press from your left buttocks down into your heel. Might be a lot of pressure on the heel, by the way, if you're not used to that. Most people aren't. You could put more cushion underneath the heel, but balance then gets harder. One thing you could do is press down into your left hand more to take some of the weight off of the left leg. All right. Bend the knee. Step back to down dog slowly. Lean forward, plank pose. Chaturanga. Slide the hands, lift. Soften. Belly lifts up. Sides of the ribs even lift up. Heart lifts up. And release. Come to all fours, hands and knees. Down dog. Okay, I want to do one even pose. So come to front of your mat or the middle of your mat, whatever you need to do. We're going to do chair pose one last time before we take a seat just to get the back even. Sit low, hips back, press your heels apart, and then find your low back. Okay, make sure the vertebrae are in. Lift the waistline up and breathe into the sides of your rib cage, into your ribs expanding out to the sides. That's going to be your intercostal muscles developing their range of motion. Arms up to the sky. Get long. Let your shoulders rise with the breath. One more. All right, sit on down. Okay. As we come to a seated position, you take your left heel in towards your groin, like you would in tree pose, and like an L shape more or less with the legs. First version is going to be a twisted variation. Okay, so use your hands behind you first to lift your hips up, and move your butt back as best you can. Now, if that presents some challenges, if being upright like this is really tough, then my recommendation, highly recommend, if I could demand it, I would, put blankets underneath your buttocks so you're up a little higher, and that'll make it easier on you. And over time, you'll develop the appropriate strength. Right now, it's important to stay upright and just stay here because that's going to develop your back strength. Okay. Next step will be turn the belly. And then like chair pose, you stick your bum back behind you to activate. Even if this knee lifts up, it's okay. Activate your back muscles to tip forward. The front leg, the straight leg, will tend to rotate out and it'll tend to bend. So you're going to rotate it in and straighten the leg. Lean forward, forward, forward. Turn your belly, turn your chest like a twist. Take your left hand across to the outer foot. Right hand props up on the outside on your fingertips. Just anywhere on the outside is fine. And then don't use this hand. It's not to pull yourself forward. It's just there as a nice little directionality of where you want the back ribs to go. Okay, so don't really use the hand. If anything, you can take your hand to your belly to turn your ribs, to turn your abdomen, turn your transverse to the right. If you want, you could reach past the foot like so. We'll do one more breath here. Cool, come on up. Janu Shirshasana, second side. Move your hips back. Okay. Belly up, find the transverse. And breathe into your rib cage, your intercostals. Now, belly to the left. Right hand reaches towards the outer shin, outer foot. Remember, don't use this hand. It's not a pulling hand, really. It's just there. It could go past the foot. It could go just to the shin. Wherever it goes, it goes. It's telling you where you want to move. It's giving you a directionality, not leverage. Remember your belly moving to the left, just like your chair pose twist. Breathe along the right rib cage. Come on out. All right. One more posture before we get into our little meditation today. This time you're going to be a wide-legged, like a straddle, but one knee bent. And this is very similar to that triangle variation we did. Take your forearm on a block. I'll have one. Or if you can reach to the ground. Now, like we did in our reverse warrior, slide the rib cage to the left and breathe into the left rib cage rather than just kind of falling to the side like this, okay? Bow out the left side. Take your top arm behind your head. Option, some of you might be able to reach with your bottom hand to be a headrest. It's an option. And then finally, you could grab the foot like you did as an option for triangle. This is called Parshva Janu Shirsasana. Side stretch. Requires tremendous range of motion along all the muscles on the side body and the ability to breathe in the sides of the ribs. Okay, come on up. Switch sides. So this is, to me, it's a nice balancer for the nervous system. It kind of gives you some energy into the body, but also it's calming. It's a grounding posture. Hello. Don't know where we got cut off. Let's see. Let me turn that around. Give me 1 second, everyone. Let me see where we got chopped so I can get back into it. Let's see here. Do the side bend to the right. How far did we get here? Almost ready for you. I'm just seeing where we left off. Give me 1 second, everyone. Okay, so we left off side bending to the left. All right. Just make sure I'm live. Sorry about that. I know that sometimes there's just a spike in the system and it gets cut off, and I don't know why. That is the internet, unfortunately, when you do live stuff. Left elbow down, turn the chest, side bend. Again, either the bottom hand can come down and be a headrest, top hand can be a headrest, and breathe into the right rib cage. Now there's the option for some of you, the hand will get to the flexed foot. What's quite nice about that is it forces you to kind of activate the bottom quads. And so Swadhyaya, self-reflection, allows you to discern what is appropriate for you in any given moment. And what's interesting about that is that what is appropriate for us today might be not appropriate or good for us tomorrow, and then it might switch again, and this is life. So the practice of yoga, which is indicative of that word practice, it's a constant self-reflection, observation of what is working, what is not working. And if we let the intellect take over, then it just runs away with this right and wrong and good and bad, and then it creates columns of goods and columns of bads, and then it doesn't take into account all the circumstances. Come on up. And so what's good today might be good tomorrow, might not be. The yoga practice is about reflecting and allowing ourselves to make decisions about what is happening now, not what happened in the past, right? So much of what we learn in life is that things change. Change is inevitable. And then we have this beautiful choice along our path to roll with changes, to make our own shifts. And I call it transformation. When change is what happens always, it's the law of nature. And I say transformation is what we decide to do with it. And so self-reflection is really the key. Self-inquiry, asking ourselves the question, reflecting upon our experiences is the key to making decisions for ourselves, to taking new actions or staying with the old ones if they're working. All right, so I'm going to just bring this a little bit closer for you all. Okay, that should be good. Hopefully. Yeah, that's good. We'll do a nice little brief pranayama to close and a gentle meditation. So you take your 2 fingers into your palm like this. Your thumb goes over your right nostril. Your ring finger goes over your left. This is ring, I guess, if you're in America. Opposite if you're in Europe, I think. So it's the right hand, the thumb, what we call the ring finger. And we start by breathing in through the left, out through the right, in through the right, out through the left. It creates this little bouncing up and back. Okay, so take a full breath in, close the eyes, and breathe out. Right nostril gets closed. We slowly inhale through the left. Close the left, slowly exhale through the right. Slowly inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. Try to calm any of your muscular system down just enough to sit upright. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. Release the hand. Inhale through both nostrils. Exhale. Inhale through both nostrils. And gently at the top of the inhale, just let it linger there for a moment. Don't breathe in or out. Then exhale. Same thing at the bottom of the breath. Don't breathe in or out. Don't clench the throat muscles. Just let it be. Inhale through both nostrils. Softly let it linger. Moment of stillness. Exhale. Let the breath be more subtle now. Continue this pattern. I'd love for you to pay attention to that experience in between the breath, where the stillness lies, both on the inhale and the exhale. Listen and feel and experience the stillness between the breath. Either stay with this pranayama or see if you can move into the stillness, a little more subtle with your breathing, and move into the stillness within. That same experience of stillness on either side of the inhales and exhales. It exists deep within us. And we have the ability to go there. Deep in the stillness within. Go there. And if you get lost, just come back to the breathing and the space between the breaths. Place the hands slowly in front of the heart. And feel the energy in your palms as you breathe in a little bit deeper. Notice your right and left hand. And try to feel the space right between the two of them. Enjoy a fuller breath. Rub your palms together. Create a little heat. Place the hands over the eyes. Enjoy a breath in. Place the hands over the heart. Let's enjoy a breath in. Place the hands over the belly. Now let your belly relax and breathe into your hands as you inhale, belly goes out. Exhale. Massage your legs again. Create just a kinesthetic connection to your feet and legs. And place the hands to the heart. We bow in with gratitude for this body and the energy that pulses through it. Thank you all so much for your practice. Thank you for stepping in today to the practice of yoga and swadhyaya, self-reflection, self-inquiry. Namaste. Okay, thank you all so very much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed your practice today on Janu Shirshasana. If you feel that you would like to take Shavasana, now you can take Shavasana. So go ahead and I'm going to just be quiet. So if that's something that you'd like to do, you're welcome to it. Otherwise, it's nice to sometimes, I leave the practice in meditation to allow you to feel what that's like to go throughout your day after that instead of Shavasana. They will provide different experiences. Okay, enjoy yourself. Namaste.